Welcome back. It is me, Shavonna Leeds. We are here again at Game Changers. I'm on the couch with my main man, D.
Yo.
Yes. First of all, y'all should have caught us just a few minutes ago. We was having a whole...
We was vibing.
We was having a whole sing-down duet.
It was a Tina Marie, Rick James kind of like meets...
Love them and leave them. So, all right, let me get back in my lane.
Put the swag back on.
Let me get back in my lane. Okay, so Deep is a 4 times Grammy and Golden Globe nominated artist. Okay, he is an entrepreneur, CEO of Think Deep Entertainment. Okay, he has published a book, and we're going to get into all of that. He has graced the stages with some of the greats like Beyonce, John Legend, Chance the Rapper, Kanye West, been featured in Vogue Italia, like GQ Italia, excuse me. Long story short, the man ain't new to the game, he's true to the game, and we are going to get into what it's really like to be in this industry because we know how hectic entertainment can be. So we're just going to start with what brings you here today?
Well, you know, it's warm outside. No, I'm in Miami because the BMI Awards, BMI Hip Hop and R&B Awards are happening tonight, actually. So I'm come here to celebrate with my fellow songwriters and producers that have been making hits. And they happen to be with BMI. I happen to be with ASCAP. But, it's all good. But we're here to celebrate the wins for the past year.
Oh, that's super amazing.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know what BMI is, could you explain that?
Sure. There's a PRO. PRO stands for Performance Right Organizations, and these are the people that make sure that we get paid. Okay. Specifically your songwriters and producers. So you write your song, it's not enough to go in the studio and record it, or your home studio, whatever, and record it. You now have to register that joint. You want to send it off to the Library of Congress, of course, first, so that it's protected against theft and copies and all that kind of stuff. And then you want to get a relationship with the PRO, ASCAP, BMI, CSAC. There's several out there. BMI actually holds the record of paying out the most money for the past 3 years to songwriters and producers. They make sure that wherever your music is played and other artists using it in sales, that they track it so that you get your money. This the loan money we're talking about.
I know that's right. We have a thing called game-changing gems. I think you just drop one right out the gate, okay? Because as creatives, as artists, there are many people that get stuck in the talent side, the creative side, and we don't even know things like that. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Y'all take advantage of that information. So I always like to go to the beginning.
Ooh. That's a long drive.
We got time.
Let's go. I'm waiting.
So I know that you actually kind of grew up in the industry, right? Your mother was in a very well-renowned choir. And were you on tour with her? Were you backstage? Like, what was it like?
I didn't realize I was in the music industry. I grew up in Houston, Texas. My mom is a part of a choir by the name of Southeast Inspirational Choir, which was founded by Shirley Joyner, the late Shirley Joyner, Carl Preacher, and Brenda Waters, who were heavy hitters in the gospel music industry. So I grew up in the church, and this is what you did. I went to this church, Outreach Baptist Church, which is one of the founding churches of that choir.
Yeah.
And they've spawned the careers of people like Greg Curtis, who's mega producers, and Yolanda Adams, and Reese Joyner, and the list goes on. Yeah. And I was the first son to the choir, so I was everybody's nephew, and you just was in rehearsal in the church singing all the time. So a lot of my early resume, I didn't realize I was even building resume.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, oh, Paige, you in town, or Lil Don, you in town.
Yeah.
You're at the church, or you singing background. So that, those things start happening. Kimber Burrell and Kathy Burrell and Yolanda and, Kirk and just the people. Ty Tribbett would come to the church. Oh, you have to sing with these people. So I didn't realize that I was being in the music industry. I just was doing what I knew.
Wow. That's really dope because I could imagine like that takes a lot of the pressure off. Because let me meet Yolanda Adams right now. I'd be like,
well, she wasn't Yolanda at that time. I mean, she was. When I was born, there was a song called My Liberty, and shout out to DeBrat. She just went viral a couple of days ago. We were coming out of the studio with, I'm working on a project with Southeast, so it's a very full circle moment for me. Oh. Their 50th anniversary legacy project. I'm one of the co-producers on that, so we out here. But literally at that time, this was just another family member, somebody else that was in this choir that you sing, and I'm the shorty, so it's like, oh, we back at the house eating afterward. It wasn't this thing.
Yeah.
So the pressure wasn't there per se in terms of celebrityism. The pressure for excellence was there. Which is what charged me up on how I handle business, how I show up, how I maneuver, and how doors have opened. Not because, you're the best, but you operate with the best integrity. You operate with the best secure attachment style. You show up without a problem saying, okay, I'm forefront this time, and I'm background this time. All of this matters. And so through that particular choir, that was the thing. Miss Shirley and them were very big on, this isn't about you individually. This is about this collective moment. And so when that's the thing, you really don't go out about like how many likes I'm gonna get, is this gonna go viral? It allowed me to relate a very organic experience to the creation process, and I owe that to gospel music. I only went secular because I had a son at 20, and by the time I turned 21, my son was born about 2 months after that to the date. And I wanted to start singing about things that weren't Jesus, 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 and then he died, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm out here having sex. And this situation wasn't supposed to happen. I want to talk about it, so what is that? And that's how we segued over to like really taking it on as a career, even though I had several wins as a child.
Okay. So when you were working, when you were in the gospel realm, it was more so just second nature.
It's what you do.
You at home, you grew up doing it. And it wasn't until, you got to experience life a little bit. And you said, you know what, I really am empowered by artistry, so I want to take this seriously.
By that time, I had done the things that you kind of imagine that y'all see in the movies and stuff. I was singing at pep rallies. I was singing everywhere across Texas and Louisiana in the church world. But then it would always inevitably be, oh, I have a children's community. Can we get your son to sing? Or we have a brotherhood breakfast. Can he come and sing? Or, can he sing the Black National Anthem at this Juneteenth festival?
Okay.
So my life was curated in a way that I was in those rooms already.
Right.
By the time that the secular music came around, it was a shift. I had unconsciously said yes to a career as an artist because that's what was required. If I'm singing at these churches or I'm singing at this event, now where's your record? Oh, okay, well, let's go in the studio and record a song. Okay, boom. Now you've recorded. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't, but it wasn't until I was in college. I went to Texas College. I pledged Kappa Alpha Psi there. Shout out to the noobs. But it was not until then that I started saying, like, I want to start, like, submitting for certain projects. I want to submit. And so on the back of magazines, Vibe magazine, all these things, they would say, you want a record deal?
That's what it say?
Do you want a record deal?
That's
I'm like, that's me. It's like, send this tape to this, or send this. And so I would do those things. I was managing my own stuff because I didn't realize it was management. So I was doing stuff
and you already had the skills.
I had the skills
because you grew up around,
and you knew the business. My mom she handled the business of Southeast. So she wasn't a lead singer, but she was a writer for the grants, a coordinator for the stuff. So when she was doing programs and things like that, I was at the house. I had to stuff the pamphlets. I had to call Chick-fil-A and see if we can get 500 free sandwiches for the event. So I learned the business of being a brand.
So seeing that you obviously are the talent, but you also were exposed to the business really early, there's a lot of chatter about which is more valuable. Do you think it's a 50-50 split? Do you think it's more important to be talented or more important to be business savvy when it comes to being successful in entertainment?
To be successful in entertainment, you need to first know what you want to accomplish from entertainment.
Okay.
Is it fame or is it longevity? Those are two different tracks. Secondly, you have to assess your own individualized situation. Beyonce was a part of a setup that her dad handled the business. She didn't have to learn that, even though she was being taught through him, but she didn't have to worry about a fumble there. We also have that represented with Usher's mom. We have that represented, let's go there, Tina Turner's husband. We got Michael Jackson, so there are these people that are necessary in those scenarios that don't, the creative talent is allowed to just be creative.
Yeah, because they already have the team. They come with the team.
You don't need that. Mama gonna go fight that battle. You know? Now, where my family was very supportive in the way of, I'm gonna get you to the rehearsal. I'm gonna get you to every show, but also my mom growing up in the choir and gospel music at that time, not really making the money of it. Yolanda was still trying There were still things like that. So for them, there's no livelihood.
Right.
We've been singing for all these years across the world, but there's no livelihood in that. So we want you to go get that education degree.
Right.
You know, so you kind of, for me, it was necessary to learn both because I didn't have that in space.
Okay. All right. I would say, I mean, I'm not in the entertainment industry necessarily, so I can't really say, but I think if you know the business of something, you're more likely to make it work. Yeah.
You want to know what you're involved with.
Yeah.
But if you're not a songwriter, for example, if you're not a songwriter, then the PRO information don't really matter to you.
Yeah.
Like Whitney Houston wasn't a songwriter. So again, what's your why and what do you have to bring to the table?
Yeah, exactly.
Whitney Houston's superpower beyond her voice being undeniably dope and incomparable, reality is she had an ability to emote and convey emotion. So she can take somebody else's lyrics and put hers. See, that's the gift, not the vocal cords, but she can literally put herself in what you wrote.
Yes.
And say, I'll speak for you.
Yeah. Ooh, I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah. PRO don't matter to her because she needs touring to make her money. So the business on that end is not necessary for her to do because she didn't write it. It doesn't matter anyway.
So it sounds like what you're saying, that even though like the business aspect is important, when it comes to the talent side, it's important to really know what your talent is.
What's your talent?
Because I see popcorn artists right now.
What's a popcorn artist?
I'm gonna tell you what a popcorn artist is.
She's saying to y'all.
Because I ain't in the industry. I ain't scared of y'all.
I ain't never scared.
So a popcorn artist is someone who, I would say they're more after the fame or the money. They have a very specific marketing formula. And the talent is negotiable. And I think that there's a machine behind them to push their virality and their popularity so that they can become successful. And they typically last about, I'll say 3 to 6 years, being generous. And they're out. Pop in, pop out.
And it has its place. I mean, if you think about the business side, there's always things that have everything isn't for the long haul.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have to be okay with that. I actually was having this conversation with a friend and saying, I think one of the things that trip us up the most is that we all think that we're entrepreneurs. We all think that we should be leaders. We all, these specific things that aren't applicable to everybody.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people that have had a taste. Think about it. Eminem, this is an old nugget, but Eminem blew the minds of the people when he had all those doubles that bleached their hair and looked like him and came. You remember that?
I remember, yeah.
Well, think about how many people that aren't actually working in the industry anymore, but they have that as a credit.
Yeah.
That's legitimately their credit. At what point do you say, this was an experience that I had, but that doesn't mean this is my path on life?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a hard moment.
It is, because I think that everybody want to be Jordan.
Yeah.
And like you said, the reality is we're not all Jordan. But we can be in our own lane, if you take the time and really define, your strengths. Like you say, you're a songwriter.
Yeah.
Point blank period. I'm a songwriter. I'm with BMI. I'm with...
I'm with ASCAP.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing about my songwriting. Even for me, I had to accept that my songwriting ability, though appreciated by other lyricists and wordsmiths, wasn't easily digestible.
Right.
My name is Deep.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, my music wasn't curated in a method to be easily digestible.
Yeah.
So I wasn't making pop music.
Yeah.
So what does that do with an artist like me? That says, okay, you won't dumb down. You saying the answer to your name being Deep isn't sexually laced. It ain't just let me go deep. Or can I go deep?
It's actually
meant to think something.
I never thought that one time.
Thought it. But when you think, and I'm not mad at it, but I always wrestled with, what do I do in 15 years with my career? No, I don't have the restraints of the church, but I also have the restraints of my purpose. And my purpose says I can't afford to compromise right now, even though y'all signing me.
Oh, okay, I got a word. Because when you are so intrinsically connected with yourself and connected with God and who He created you to be, your path is different. Yeah. And that's what this show is all about. Because it's nothing wrong with being trendy, and it's nothing wrong with that. but it's not for everybody. And there are some people who are just unique and dynamic and ever evolving, right? And there is a crowd that appreciates that, and the world needs that just as much.
Exactly.
So thank you for committing to who you are, regardless. And I know how difficult that could be in this type of industry, but we need that.
Well, they'll say that we're dated, that we're not there. They say that there's no audience out there. And so typically the we that needs it aren't that loud. Think about it. Like, you know, you can go to a spot and the loudest person, they're making a lot of noise and getting a lot of attention, but for what?
Yeah.
Their point isn't really there.
Right.
And so the impact is not really there. It's briefly entertaining, but you've left the community with.
Yeah.
You know, so I could be another person, arguably, yes. I know the things to do to have played that game and still could play that game.
Yeah.
But I chose not to. I'm trying to connect us. My whole thing right now, my whole journey, everything, the books, the modeling, the films, the music, the artist development, the coaching, all of the show design, the contracting is all designed for me to do my part in helping building the royal court, which includes all kind of people. We're the doctors. We're the true leaders, the thought leaders, and people that get it, that there is an ever balance of, yes, relationship with your higher power, because I'm not judging nobody's higher power, but what that is and the reality in which we're living in. How do you find balance in both?
I find balance in both, me personally, by, first of all, solitude. The world is so noisy, you know. There's so much information out there. And I find that the most organic thoughts come to me in silence. And then I find it in faith, because sometimes I have to trust those thoughts, even if it doesn't make sense to me. And when I step out on faith and I trust those thoughts, that's usually part 3 when I see alignment. And I see the confirmation in real life. Like, perfect example today. Lord knows I'm having a time right now. So I woke up extra early, like spiritually, like, you know, we just elevating. And anyway, so I woke up extra early. I said, you know what? I'm going to pray, worship. I'm going to go to the gym, get my day started off right. Go to the gym, in there taking a picture. This beautiful young lady here says, you need a photographer? And I thought she was joking. I'm like, girl, no. And she had on her shirt. She's like, no, like, I'm a photographer. Like, do you need a photographer? And I was like, yeah, like, I'm with the network. We always need photographers. We're shooting today. Would you come? Nice. And here she is sitting right here.
I love that.
And she texted me. She said, in God's perfect time. And I said, you know, I know that's right. So that is how I'm able to find that balance and understand that I am not always in control. We're not always in control.
Very true.
And it's okay.
Most times we're not.
I know.
Most times we're not, but we still have to do our due diligence and continue growth. I think one of the things that we run and lean into is that's just who I am.
Oh, yeah, no.
You know, so it kind of alleviates the need to do some self-work and things like that. That's BS, you know. Just who you are is already a representative that's been impacted by society. In the industry, we call everyone the programmable audience because we're able to say, this is what you like. Don't you like it? You like it. You like it. You like it. And despite what it is you may have initially felt, with a certain amount of pressure and a certain amount of access and the amount of times that we give that to you, you begin to think, oh, I do like that.
You will, yeah.
I do like that. And so then you start living even your life day to day based off of what you're being exposed to. Well, think about it. If the things that you're digesting, the things you're being exposed to do not align with what you say your impact or your purpose is supposed to be, then how are you actually living in a navigation that you are in control of? You're not.
You're not.
This ain't your
you're
not in control of this, you know. So it's really trusting the ebbs and flows. I live by a phrase that nothing is happenstance because everything happens for a reason. You taking the gym selfie and you know what I mean, all of that happens for a reason.
Yeah. I wish like y'all can see behind the cameras because this room, it's blowing my mind right now because this young woman, we just met her today as well, and you do 3D
Oh, wow.
3D modeling. So she works with like, you know, creating animations or things like that. And we were just having a conversation about how important it is to follow your passions, even though it's so difficult and it's not, you know, it's not the first option they encourage us to do, right? And I think that one thing all of us in this room have in common is we are being true to ourselves, being true to our purpose, creating impact. And when you're able to get a room full of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people on camera in front of y'all, let's talk about it. So there's no reason why anyone who is out there struggling has to be dealing with depression or anxiety or any of these things that are stemming from you not walking in your purpose, because we out here doing it. Okay, guys, so I'm having such a good time talking to you, but I think we dropped enough gems on.
We've given them enough nuggets, right?
We've given them enough nuggets.
Yo, they say time out for the nuggets, y'all. I have to catch you on that.
Oh my God! So before we go, 3 game-changing gems. What were 3 pivotal moments in your life that shifted your outlook?
I hate because I'm very confident in that I'm ever evolving, that I always reserve the right to change my mind. I got, stuck trying to do R&B a certain way. Prior to that, do gospel a certain way. Okay, are you a background singer? Are you a arranger? I'm totally and wholly me. We say unapologetically, but on like for real. What they say? On God. Yeah. I live on purpose, like for real. And I'm not even churchy like that. Actually, I'm not a big church advocate, as more I am a big relationship advocate. So I would say, living on purpose, unapologetically, and allowing myself the room to grow and change. I would say seeing things from conception to completion. Don't stop the process. Continue walking. As you continue walk, you will meet somebody along the way that's supposed to help with that journey, but don't force relationships. Just because they are related and just because they currently exist, and even if you think that they can help you, if it's not organically happening, don't push it. You'll do nothing but waste time. And then the very last thing, make sure that once you are done with whatever that purpose thing is, whatever that creation is, whatever that thought is, once you've done preparing it and getting it to the furthest extent that you can, then start seeking out partners that will be able to come through and pull it to the other side while maintaining your integrity.
Big bars.
That's my 3.
Y'all got all of that?
Don't be afraid to fall back so you can step up. That's the book, Fall Back to Step Up. Remember, nothing is happenstance. Everywhere you meet, everywhere you've been, everything you've been through, every high, every low is on purpose. Keep going, because for every time there's a mountain, there is a valley on the other side. If you continue to walk, you'll start your incline ascension again.
And where can we connect with you? Because you're not going to drop all that and just never come around. Like, where can we connect with you?
Yo, connect with me. My name is Deep. It's spelled with 1 E, DEP, with Latin Macron over it, but you can't use it all the time. So if you go on social medias, you'll just go to @thinkdeep, ThinkDeep. If you do that, thinkdeep.com, you can find me there, or you can search Donald Deep page and find the books and all the things that's going on. Don't forget, this shit can't wait. The mixtape is coming up, is dropping it this month.
That's the name of it.
This shit can't wait, because it can't.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to tell you why, because I think we get thrown off by profanity. And we're living in a world that uses it like it's nothing. So we have to take back control over things, right? And we all know and understand the presence of the word shit. It's something that the body rejects, that doesn't want. When you really got to go, you can't hold it, right? This project is full of songs that are talking about things that are going to impact the culture, to call us to rise back up again, to unite. And the urgency for us to do so is now. It can't wait.
But I can't wait. And thank you again for sharing all of your wisdom.
Absolutely.
Thank y'all again for choosing you and coming back to watch our show. And thank our sponsors at Boss Nation Network for making this all possible. See you next week.
Peace.